Thanks, Ron. And before I introduce Dave Toycen to you, Google Earth has a terrific way of kind of focusing in on the epicenter of the earthquake. Happened just about maybe 15 minutes or so off of Port-au-Prince, which is the capital city there in Haiti. And to all reports, the city is pretty much flattened. We've all seen some pictures already, and what we're hearing is that this city is pretty much destroyed. David Toycen, welcome, first of all.
Thank you, Jim.
You've had a harried morning, to say the least.
Yes, it has. And just one piece of good news that I just want to share with kind of the family here. Our national director's family, his wife and two daughters, were missing in part of the destruction where they were living, and they've just found them and they're fine. So that's a piece of good news that we are really grateful for.
How are they communicating to you, by the way? Do they have a satellite phone or what?
Yeah, we've had one phone operating out of our satellite phone out of our office there. We've also got 3 Canadian staff there who are there for other reasons, and they've been using Skype. But the cell phone network seems to be down largely. All of them have cell phones and they don't seem to be working.
Now, for those who haven't met Dave Toycen before, friends, he is the president of World Vision Canada, has been so for many years, and has really led World Vision Canada to a whole new level of engagement around the world. And as far as I'm concerned, and I know Crossroads feels this way, Vision-led is the, I should say, World Vision is the, World Vision is the, I won't call you the grandfather, but you really are the major player in terms of world relief as a Christian organization, and we greatly respect you for what you're doing. So, Dave, give us your perspective from what you're hearing from the World Vision Network as to what's been happening in Haiti over the last 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, from everything we're hearing, from what our staff are telling us, this is a major catastrophe. At World Vision, we have 3 levels, and a level 3, which we think this is going to be, means that 1 million people have been affected. I think the Red Cross is talking 3 million people. Yeah. Our own staff have been terrified by this. So far, none of our staff have been hurt that we're aware of or killed. We have just under 400 people there. So what you do, we're a development organization primarily in the country. We're now shifting as many people into relief work as we can. We've got about supplies, emergency supplies for about 1,500 families that we keep as the hurricane season comes up. So we've got something immediate that we can distribute. Assessment is critical, and I think that's what everybody's struggling with at the moment. And then obviously the rescuing of people who are trapped. And then following that, it's the issue of clean water, probably the most critical, because you can't live long without clean water. And then food will be an issue, and shelter. We've got a global response team as well as our regional response team that's in Dominican Republic now. I'm just getting ready to fly out this afternoon. So we're hoping we can get in either later today or early tomorrow.
A big challenge is going to be getting around.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're talking a country that the infrastructure is so battered to begin with. There's no backup to anything. The roads outside of Port-au-Prince are extremely difficult. Even parts of Port-au-Prince, you're talking potholes and very difficult, moving of traffic in the city, even in the best of times.
How familiar are you with the history of Haiti? Do you have a bit of a sense? Could you give our viewers a bit of a sense of an overview of where Haiti has come from and why it's there and why it seems to be so besieged and beset upon?
Yeah. Well, I think when it comes to Haiti, we all have to express humility before the Lord, because there's more aid agencies, more missionaries per square inch or whatever in Haiti than anywhere in the world, and yet we still haven't seen the progress that we long for. The history of Haiti, historically it was the first enslaved country that fought to its own freedom, so there was such promise there, but the revolution there was a huge bloodbath in terms of the French and the Haitians on both sides. So that was the beginning, and then the Duvalier regime was in power, first Papa Doc, the father, and then his son for a number of years. Then we moved into some sort of representative government, but it's been a very mixed experience. Heavy rioting about 3 years ago, and the country was, this meant the industry they had pulled out. And so the last 3 years have been very difficult, and I was there in April, and they were starting to turn the corner a bit. There was less conflict in terms of internally, in terms of thuggery and thieves and things like that. The economy was starting to pick up a little bit. They were getting some favor with the World Bank for some more funding, as well as Canada. It's our number 2 country in the world in terms of funding. So, you know, things were starting. So this is really devastating right now.
In terms of World Vision's involvements around the world, where would Haiti rank in terms of need and poverty?
Well, I think, it's one of the poorest countries in the world. I think it's number, 146 out of about 177 countries on the Human Development Index from the UN. So it's certainly the poorest country in our hemisphere. And so, you know, you're talking about mortality rates amongst children that are some of the highest in the world. You're talking about, in some places, you know, 1 out of 5 babies are unlikely to make it to age 5. Literacy rates only at about 40%. So, I mean, you can go on lots of statistics. And yet they're a resilient people. They don't give up. And I think the other thing, Jim, that's really important in this is to remember that in most disasters, the local people are the ones who actually do the most.
Yeah.
And so we've got to pay tribute to their spirit. We've got to pray for them. Obviously, there's a strong church network there. And there's already lots of people on the ground. So it's getting the things to them, encouraging them, praying for them. And even in the worst of times, God usually manages to bring something good out of it. We hope so.
Dave, let's go over to Ron and see what's happening on